You leave my friends alone, all right?
I'll leave my friends alone.
You'll leave them alone?
Dude, do you want to talk to Tom Carroll about this? I'm happy to go.
There's nothing wrong with this. There's nothing wrong with this.
Come on.
What have I done?
You're harassing me.
Whoa! That is not okay. That is not okay. You cannot do that. That is battery. That is assault.
For my friend.
Stop.
That motherfucker!
Stop, Henry. It's okay.
You're gonna end
Look
up
at this.
fucking dead.
Look at this.
You're gonna end up
Look at
fucking
this.
dead.
Look at this. Whoa!
Right now!
Whoa! Henry, it's okay. Henry, it's okay. It's okay, Henry.
Off me!
Guys, I need you guys to step aside and just try to pick her up.
Look at that.
Calm down. It's okay. Calm down. It's
It's
all right.
okay.
Calm down. It's okay.
I'm good. I'm good.
All right.
I didn't even.
Okay.
Look at
Calm down. It's okay. It's all right. All right. Take a deep breath. I know. You have every right to report if this.
I know,
is
yeah.
you. Okay. Alrighty.
I'm all right.
Are you good, Henry?
I'm good. I'm sorry about that, Floyd.
No, you're good. You're good. It's okay. It's okay. I can defend myself.
Okay.
You're good.
Okay. I'm sorry I didn't ask. Are you okay as well?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm sure this is
Dude, he's so
something
unstable.
it's so.
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
Sorry, guys.
Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
So, that was very interesting. Apologies for not bleeping the cuss words. I totally forgot about that part. I was so excited to give you guys that video that I forgot to bleep the cuss words. My bad, as they used to say back in the 90s, right? My bad. It's Monday, December 9th, 2019, live after the 9 a.m. hour, in the 9 a.m. hour of Jesse Lee Peterson's stream, 9 a.m. Los Angeles time. I think, what time is it in Australia for some of our Australian fans? It's like 4 a.m. the next day. Crazy. But we're live on YouTube, dlive.tv, Periscope, hey guys, hey Marie Freeze, and mixer.com/JLP Talk. And I will get to you guys callers, and I thank you guys for the well wishes. You probably heard on the Jesse Lee Peterson show that my grandma died, my father's mother, this morning. So thank you to Jesse, and thanks to you guys for the well wishes and just the callers in advance. Appreciate that. So what you just saw at the top of this, at the beginning, right before the beautiful song by Trevor Wesley, the video of the alleged violent leftist LGBTQ activist Keaton Hill, who attacked a black Republican dude. And he was black. Fox News didn't mention that part. White on black crime. Had to be an LGBT, right? I don't know if he is LGBT, but that's what somebody tweeted regarding the video. And I can only assume that they're right. I reported on that in Hake News, hour 2 of today, the Jesse Lee Peterson show. It took place, where was this? Sacramento State. That's up north, northern NorCal. Can you believe it? Sacramento is the capital of California, the People's Republic of California. Sacramento is a far left city, I would say, because look at the politicians who are up there, making all kinds of crazy anti-American laws against our First and Second Amendment rights. Both First and Second Amendment, to be honest. They're attacking the anti-vaxxers. They want to force us to put vaccines in our children that they don't even care about our children. And they're pro-abortion, no doubt. They're anti-gun, which is anti-Second Amendment. They are evil. They're pro-illegal alien. We're a sanctuary state. And now we have like wild, angry liberals, pro-abortion liberals, wishing death on some kid who was posted about on Facebook. This is the backstory to this violent attack. Well, it all started on a Facebook post, I think. Well, it started before that. This guy hates his mama, right? Probably, as Jesse would say. So, yeah, no doubt. So this guy, Keaton Hill, the white man that you saw or heard, if you're listening to the show, heard attack the black guy who said, "Not okay." I would play it over again, but it has cussing. So now I feel like my hands are tied because now that I know that it has cussing, and this is a family show, kids watch it, you know, men and women allow their children to watch and stuff like this. I am not going to play it again. Darn. Nick, can you do me a favor? Nick, can you grab that video and redo it with bleeps? Redo this video with bleeps right now, and then let me know when it's ready. Thank you guys, because I do want to replay it for you, maybe later in this hour. 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever. So, yeah, so this guy, Keaton Hill, allegedly commented on a Facebook post with mutual friends or something like that, a mutual friends anti-abortion post the previous day. "I hope that kid on your page dies of whatever cancer they have," prompting a back and forth with Floyd Johnson II. Floyd being the black dude who's a college Republican. He was former president of the Sacramento State College Republicans. He black and innocent, as I said. Their dispute carried into a Friday morning class where Keaton Hill, the white dude, I think he's white, allegedly hurled an expletive at the black Republican, whatever his name is, Floyd Johnson II. After class, Johnson and a friend confronted Hill, and you saw Johnson was recording, and then Hill pulls up his camera and says, "You want to talk to such and such? And you're harassing me." And then he goes like this. I'm lifting up my left hand as he's holding his right hand with his phone. And he goes like this, and he goes, he's takes a swing. And since it was open-handed, it was considered a slap. But he smacked, and he did multiple swings at Johnson and trying to knock the cell phone out of his hand, and eventually succeeds. He gets held back. For those of you who are listening to the podcast and not seeing the video, he gets held back by the friend. Floyd Johnson was smart to go be with a friend. The friend holds the wild boy back. I call him boy, but he's a grown adult. College students are generally adults. And the guy's trying to break free and take slaps and stuff like that, and then he breaks free and knocks the cell phone camera down on the ground, and the guy's like, "Whoa, the black guy," and the black guy is pointing at him "You're not supposed to assault" and stuff like that. It's battery. Yeah, it's worse than assault. It's battery because he actually did hit him. So assault is when there's a mere threat of a hit, or a threat of pointing a gun at somebody. It's the threat of violence. Interesting, huh? So, a statement to the school's newspaper, Hill apologized for lunging. Oh, I did the air quotes, sorry. Lunging at Floyd's phone. I can do air quotes, just not excessively, right? I was criticized the other day, and it stuck with me, about using air quotes too much. That's when you put up 2 fingers of one hand and 2 fingers of the other, and then crunch them down like quotation marks. Responding to the incident at the school's Facebook page, he accused Johnson of provoking him. That was hardly provocation. You see the video, he's annoyed that he's being watched. Evil is always annoyed at being watched. That's why Antifa wears masks, because they don't want to be watched, they don't want to be prosecuted, and blah, blah, blah. The LGBTQ activist is mad that he was recorded without his mask on, his Antifa mask. I'm kidding. I don't know if he's Antifa, but he acts like it. Actually, Antifa usually is better behaved when they don't have their masks on. That's why when we did our straight pride rally up in Fremont, was it Fremont, California? I don't know, up there, around that area. They the police banned Antifa from wearing their masks, and so it was less violent. So, anyways, this Sacramento State University, College and University President Robert Nelson, a liberal, no doubt, right? On his Facebook, on the school's Facebook page, called this a fist fight. Anybody who watched, and probably even if you're listening, you can tell there's no fist fight. That boy, I don't know if that boy ever even clenched a fist. It was smacks, it was assaults, and it was not a fight even, because the black dude, I call him a black dude, the black young man, was just pointing his finger and keeping arm's length and holding a distance from the guy. It was no fight. So this guy is a liar. Stupid university presidents. So I just wanted to give you that story. It was an exciting video. Go back and watch it. And when it's ready, I'll replay it for you because it's kind of interesting and funny and fun. But yeah, liberals are violent. The left has always been more violent than the right. You know, with this so-called impeachment inquiry hearing, I saw in this Fox News Chiron, I don't know how you pronounce it, which is that little headline that they put at the bottom of the screen, like this. It said, Dem counsel, meaning Democrat lawyer, claims that President Trump put his re-election above America's national security. Excuse me, Trump's re-election is our national security. It's for our national security that Trump be re-elected. Democrats are bad for national security. Always. Anyways, I'm going to get to Trump being called anti-Semitic and anti-black and pro-Nazi and all that stuff. I'm going to touch on that. I'm also going to talk briefly about these African migrants coming by the thousands per year now. Several thousand now, or at least more than a few thousand. So I will get to that, but let me get to a couple of calls first, a few, and then we'll go forward. Louis out of Idaho. Louis, thank you for calling. Louis.
Hey, what's up, man? What's up?
Hey, nice to hear from you.
Yeah, again, you caught me off guard. I was just thinking of something else.
Oh.
I forgot why I called.
This says words on recent death.
What?
You didn't even understand. Yeah, Nick, he's a great producer, but as a call screener, hit and miss. You know, yeah. It says words on recent death. Maybe it's
words on recent death. No, well, you know what? First of all, I wanted to say I'm really sorry about your grandmother dying. And my grandmother died in the 90s, and she lost her mind. She lost her mind, man.
Wow.
It was like she was not the right person. I don't know your situation.
Yeah.
But
how long did that last? Where she lost her mind until she died?
You know, my uncle Godfather got rid of her, and then I had to take her over for about a year and a half.
Oh, wow.
And it was bad. It was bad. But, you know, nursing home to nursing home, her running away, things like that, you know.
Yeah.
But it worked out. She, you know. And, you know, when my family told me she died, I was like, you know what? It wasn't really a person to me anymore.
Yeah.
Because she was gone. And I don't know your situation, but I'm sorry for your loss, man.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah, my grandmother, she stayed pretty clear-minded as far as I could tell. I mean, I heard that at the last week or something, I visited my parents' house. I think it was for Thanksgiving. And my sister told me that she told my mother, have you been, or were you kidnapped in such and such? And my mother said no, according to my sister, right?
Yeah.
I'm not telling exactly the story. Exactly. Yeah. But, and then and then my grandmother allegedly said, your life is boring. But,
my grandmother ran away, went to a neighbor's house and had them call the cops on me.
Yeah. Wow.
Holy.
Yeah,
I'm telling you.
that happens a lot with I've volunteered, when I went to a Christian university, we were supposed to do this service learning thing or something. So I volunteered at an Alzheimer's home, and I saw a lot of old folks who would act like that. I had one black guy take a swing at me.
I had a patient.
I didn't blame him either.
I worked as a phlebotomist for years, and you know what? I had a patient one day, and I said, "Oh, what's your name and date of birth?" And then I had to do that through your. Every time I looked away, I had to ask again and again.
Wow,
it was funny.
Yep,
that was just amazing. Anyway, amazing.
I appreciate that, Louis.
Well, you know what? Yeah, I'm sorry for your loss, and have a nice day, man.
All right, you too, man. Take care.
Take care. Bye.
All right. Yeah, my grandmother. Both of my grandmothers are in their. Well, the one is dead now. The other one, she's in her 90s. And my grandfather on my mother's side was in his 90s, and he died. And then my grandfather, the one who left my grandmother who just died, a widow, he died when I was 19 or 20 or so, I would say. It would have been about 20, right around there. Yeah, he died. I was in college, and he had Parkinson's, that thing that that guy Michael J. Fox had, ever since, kind of since I remembered, but he kind of declined throughout my childhood, teenage years, and then he died in almost like 20 years ago. Well, 18 years ago, anyways. So she lived quite a while, and she was still mobile. She was still driving, and then towards the end, she stopped driving. Maybe in the last year or two or three or more. But she was sharp, and she was quite mobile, small lady. Danish. She wanted to move to Denmark if Hillary Clinton got elected. I don't know what she thought of Trump. I didn't really get to talk with her about politics. But she was, that generation, they were like moderation pretty much in everything. And my grandmother on my dad's side, she was quite frugal. And because she went through the Depression, the Great Depression, and it was just an interesting life. I remember she gave me I thought about it this morning. She gave me a purple sweater when I was a kid. And I was like, purple? It was for Christmas. She would give gifts every year, right? So it wasn't the only gift she gave me. But I was like, purple? I was a kid. And then I remember I got in trouble with my dad in the car afterwards. Because that's not very grateful, right? I suppose it could be construed as rude. But I mean, it was just my honest reaction. I didn't even think anything of it. And then something else happened. Oh, yeah, she was healthy pretty much her whole life. She had a little neck problem here and there. She didn't have a beta back like me. But then I remember I was driving her in my dad's car, and then she's like, like that, like scared, like panicking, because she thought something was happening that it wasn't happening. Like, she got confused by, maybe we were merging, and she thought another car was going to crash into us or something. And I remember being so annoyed at that. But it's funny because, like, I do that to other people. Like, I think I've been riding in the car when Jesse, I'm like, whoa. And then he's like, calm down, mama. So I guess I got that from her. But she was cool. It was, she was like more of serious, stern, kind of. But yeah, she had a sense of humor. It was cool. Anyways, let me get to, let's see. Carl out of Chicago, Illinois. Carl, how are you?
Hey, hanging in there, James. How about you?
Doing fine. Nice to hear from you.
Yeah, I'm Raisho from Discord Land.
Oh, right on. Appreciate you calling in. So, guys, I was on Discord. You know, Jesse Lee Peterson has a Discord. Shout out to Past, Present, Future, also known as Tim from Louisiana. We haven't heard from him in a while. At least I haven't. But he set that Discord up And I've been ignoring it and so remiss. And then so I'm like, you know what? I should get on that Discord because it's there and it's a great little platform to chat with you guys. So I was chatting in the live voice chat on Discord. It's like a gamers platform where they talk, and some people use it for calling in and stuff. Yeah, appreciate that, Raisho, a.k.a. Carl.
Yeah, you got it, man. Just calling in, really calling in to be engaged in the show, but I guess we want to talk about like the Trump impeachment, and
yeah,
it's not great that it's happening, but I think it's kind of to be expected.
Exactly.
They were always looking for something to get him on, and now they got this thing where they're saying that he exchanged like money, which is money that supposedly we owe to Ukraine, which, as far as I'm concerned, we don't owe any money to them. Any money that they get from us, they should be lucky. And if they don't get any money from us, they should still consider themselves lucky to be even like in conversation with the United States.
Yeah.
But, they're saying that the money was withheld so Ukraine would investigate the Bidens. And then there was a firing of some prosecutor, and some diplomat was pulled back from there that would supposedly be bad for Trump. And I'm just like, the whole situation, I think that, if you're on the left, it sounds so bad.
Right.
Your head is in the clouds about this whole thing. You're under the impression that we owe something to Ukraine, and that Russia is bad. But if you've got your eyes open, I think you're able to see that, we don't owe anything to them, and who cares about Russia?
Yeah.
They're like a third world country compared to the United States.
Certainly second world, yep.
If they shoot a missile at us, what's going to happen is a bunch of little silos across the coast are going to open up and shoot down any projectile coming, to the mainland. And
yeah,
I'm just so tired of it all. Like, how can we change people's minds about like Trump? And I'm not saying like get them to be Trump fans, but just like calm down about Trump. He's like not as bad as you believe him to be, and it's annoying.
Yeah, it is. It's so ridiculous. People have such bad Trump derangement syndrome. I was reading this article yesterday on my show, on my channel, the Hake Report Sundays, and it was about the illegal alien housekeepers who are now turning on their former boss and just trashing him, basically. And they're being used willingly to attack Trump. And these people in the comment section are acting like Trump he personally knew that these people were illegals and he's a hypocrite and all this stuff. They had fraudulent documents. So, and they claim, but without evidence, that their supervisors knew that they were illegals, and that they had fraudulent documents. And we're supposed to believe these women? But you're right. These people are not really sane. But you're not going to wake up most people. But some people will wake up especially, it's not usually logical arguments that wakes people up. Yes, it's good to remain logical and give logical arguments, but I think it's how we are that wakes people up more than anything. Like, the evil reaction to Trump has awakened a lot of people to how Trump is actually a good guy, and these other guys who are opposing him are so evil about it. And the way that Trump is handling it is right. So when he handles it pretty much right, with exceptions, maybe he makes mistakes here and there. But that makes people pause and realize, oh yeah, this is evil that's against him, and that wakes people up.
Yeah, and it makes me think of that guest Jesse had a while ago, that this gay guy who had like an argument with his elementary school teacher or whatever, that he posted something on Facebook about how Trump was bad, and she responded to him with a video where it debunked Trump's thing where he was like making fun of the disabled, right? And I think like that's an excellent example of how we can wake people up, is like break the deception. The deception is like is so strong, it's a fog over your head.
Yeah.
But if you everybody maybe has a piece of evidence that's going to break it, and I guess we just have to find that, or not care about anyone who doesn't like Trump. I don't know whether I should be trying to like wake people up or whether I should just let them not wake up. I don't know. It's pretty confusing case.
I say just, you can, don't back down. Don't just give up on them and not tell them the truth. But like Jesse Lee Peterson says all the time, don't try to convince them, because they're just going to drag you in to hell with themselves. But you were talking about Brandon Strzok of the #WalkAway movement. He believed that thing where Trump always acts kind of retarded sometimes when somebody is attacking him. He says, "Oh, I don't know what I'm saying," but and that was, he was attacking a so-called disabled reporter. But there's a bunch of videos of him acting the same way, regardless of whether the guy was disabled or not, that he was attacking. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think some people are just they're ready to wake up, and it just takes a little bit. But other people are not ready to wake up, and it doesn't matter. They're not really led by the truth. I appreciate it though, Carl.
Hey, you got it. One last thing, today I'm going to go to work in my red Fallen State shirt. On the front it says the Fallen State, and it's got Jesse on it.
Yeah.
And on the back it says, "That's amazing." That's a great shirt, very comfortable.
Yeah.
Everybody listening should get a shirt.
Nice. Appreciate that, Carl. What kind of work you do?
Well, thanks for having...
If you don't mind my asking, what type of work do you do?
Well, right now I'm full-time, ride-share driver. I like to say I'm self-employed, hiring Lyft to source my rides, just a point of pride, but maybe I sound a little too prideful when I say it.
Well, good luck, man. Stay safe out there.
All right, well, thanks for having me on. You have a great show.
All right. You as well. Take care.
Bye.
Bye. Mari out of California. Mari, nice to hear from you.
Hey, James. How are you doing?
Doing fine.
I was calling to give you my condolences for your grandmother.
I appreciate that. And thank you all out there as well.
On the behalf of the Ovaldo family, we send our condolences to you and your family.
I appreciate that. On behalf of my family, thank you.
Anytime.
Yeah, that's cool.
Well,
and thank you, too, for supporting Bond. I saw you supported the Bond Building Fund. Thank you very much for that.
Oh, yeah, you guys are welcome. Anytime. So.
Nice. Right on.
If you need anything, just don't hesitate. Well, I'll call again and check on you.
All right.
See how you're doing.
Cool.
Well, you have a blessed day.
You as well, Marty. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye. Yeah, guys, the Bond Building Fund, if you don't already know, you may have heard Jesse Lee Peterson say it, but Bond, which is Jesse Lee Peterson's nonprofit, Rebuilding the Family by Rebuilding the Man, we're moving. And we need to raise money to buy a building so we don't have to keep on paying rent, because it's too high. And so there's an anonymous donor who's offering $60,000 matching donation. So if we raise, I think it's $67 from 1,000 people, that'll get us to $300,000. Which would include the matching donation plus what we had where we started this matching fund thing. Until December 15th, this matching fund thing is going. So you just have about, it is the 8th, 9th? So, what is that? Is that, I'm not sure when the 15th is, but oh no, that's Sunday. It's coming Sunday, the 15th. So, make sure you check it out. You can go to thebond.fund, and I think that'll show you the GoFundMe page for it. Very cool and easy place to do it. You can post comments and stuff. Very nice, positive comments on that GoFundMe page. So go to thebond.fund or rebuildingtheman.com, and you can see the thermometer. There's donations through the website, there's donations through Super Chats, and there's donations through the GoFundMe page. So the GoFundMe page isn't fully representative of everything that we've raised. So anyways, I'm going to get to one more quick call, and then I'll get to the rest of you guys. But first, I'm going to get to, after this call, I'm going to get to this Trump being called anti-Semitic and stuff. Donning Armor out of California. What's up?
Hey, Hake. How you doing, brother? My regards to you and your family.
Appreciate that. I'm doing fine, thank you.
Man. Wonderful. Well, so I guess I'll just get right into my question because I know you got stories to get to. So, reparations for blacks. I know it's a heated discussion that a lot of people go back and forth over. I'm like, as I always say, a white ethno-nationalist. I actually am in favor of reparations for blacks. And I'm curious from some of the black callers that call into your show often what they would think of this as reparations, rather than cutting you a check. What if we were to create essentially a separate America, a separate country altogether for blacks that's ran by blacks, governed by blacks, the police force is black, the citizens are black. You know, that mayor, what was it, Louisiana, that said a chocolate city today and a chocolate city tomorrow or whatever. Well, how about a chocolate nation just for black Americans? Would they be willing or interested in an idea like that? Because it seems that the tension between the races seems to escalate as diversity goes up. The racial tension goes up with it. I'm just throwing it out there, positing it as a possibility. What do you think about it, Hake?
Well, Joel says it would last 30 minutes. Some of people want that. Louis Farrakhan, I think, wants that. Doesn't he want Georgia or Alabama or something like that? I don't know. I would say
wherever most of them are. I mean, that's going to be the logical place where it's going to go. But
I don't know if they would want that. Some of them would. Some of them would jump at the chance, I think. And then
I think the vast majority, they already prefer living in black neighborhoods and black communities. It's just kind of natural for people to want to live with their own kind.
Sort of. Some of them, you know how like if their community is a hood and they want to get out of the hood, then they move in with the whites.
That
you do notice that
it doesn't happen.
We'll say that again.
That does happen, but by and large, I think people prefer to live in a community that reflects their racial identity.
Yeah, you know, like LeBron James, he moved over to Brentwood, which is maybe I would say mostly white and Jewish community, rich area, and then what happened to his gate? Allegedly, it got painted with the N-word, and he said it's hard on being black in America. It's tough.
Wow, those poor multi-million-dollar black people. I feel so bad for them.
Right. It's so ridiculous.
If I was making that money, you could paint Cracker, Hunky, whatever you want on my gate. I'll help you.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm not for any type of reparations. I do understand the desire to separate, and I'm for people willingly and freely separating. There's nothing wrong with freedom to segregate or integrate if you're so choosing. But I want people to return to morality. Say that again?
I wouldn't force the segregation,
right.
Certainly not like gunpoint. But I think that that says you can incentivize people to come here, you can incentivize people to leave, or in the case of Black Americans, because I feel that they're a different case altogether. The illegal Central and Southern Americans that came here illegally, they just have to go back. There's nothing for them. Sorry. Well, you're welcome, first of all.
Right.
You're welcome for the opportunity to make more money and better health care, better education. Now go home.
Yeah.
But Black Americans, they were brought here against their will. Not most of them at this point, because I think more Africans have migrated legally to the United States than were ever brought as slaves. I believe they brought
I wouldn't be surprised.
400 million. Yeah. So, but for those that were, brought over here through the transatlantic slave trade and their descendants, I think that they do deserve their own homeland. Anyway, hopefully one of your black callers will call in.
Okay.
Maybe not call me a racist. I don't know. We'll find out.
Right. Don't worry about that one. Who cares? I appreciate that, Dawning Armor.
I really don't care.
Yeah.
My pleasure, man.
All right.
And, best wishes to you and your family. Is your grandfather still...
No, he died
alive?
about 18 or 19 years ago, I would say. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yes. Because I remember when both of mine passed, and they tend to go... well, actually, my grandmother starved herself to death when my grandfather died.
Wow.
So she died a month after he did. It's sad, but they were almost married for, I think it was about 70 years.
Wow.
When you lose somebody like you've been with for such a long time, it's kind of got to be a difficult thing to do. So anyway, my condolences to you and yours.
Thank you, man. Appreciate that. Take care.
All right, brother. Talk to you later.
Bye. Yeah, I think one thing with my grandmother, with my grandfather on that side, my grandfather, like I said, he had the Parkinson's, but he stayed in their home. She wanted to take care of him herself throughout all that time. That was, I think, a little stressful for her, but she lasted. She lasted a good 18 years longer, so or 19. That's cool. So, I have the video. Let me play the clean version. I think maybe for the podcast, if I think of it, I will bleep I'll bleep it so that the people listening to the podcast don't have to hear those terrible F words that this stupid alleged LGBTQ activist said, talking about MF mother mug. So let me go ahead and play this for you. This is that so-called fist fight, which wasn't even a fight. It was the white man attacking the black man. Check it out.
You leave my friends alone, all right? You'll leave them alone?
Dude, do you want to talk to Tom Carroll about this? I'm happy to go.
There's nothing wrong with this. There's nothing wrong with this.
Come on.
What have I done?
You're harassing me.
Oh,
You're harassing me.
Okay. That is not okay. You cannot do that. That is battery. That is assault.
For my friend.
Stop. Stop, Henry. It's okay. Look at this. Look at this.
You're gonna end up
Look at this.
dead.
Look at this.
Wow, that's a threat.
Whoa!
Right now.
Whoa! Henry, it's okay. Henry, it's okay. It's okay, Henry.
Off me. Guys, I need you guys to step
Black
aside
Republican.
and
Look at that.
Calm down. It's okay. Calm down.
He's not.
All
He's
right.
calm. Be
Calm
quiet,
down.
woman.
It's
Stupid.
okay.
I'm good. I'm good.
I hate the college atmosphere.
I didn't even.
Okay, calm down. It's okay. It's all right.
Shut
All right,
up,
take
woman.
a deep breath. I know.
Tell him. to
You
take a deep breath.
have every right to report if this is
I know,
what you choose
yeah.
to do. Okay. Alrighty.
I'm all right.
Are you good, Henry?
I'm good. I'm sorry about that, Floyd.
No, you're good.
No,
You're
man,
good.
it's
It's
good.
okay. It's okay. I can defend myself.
Okay.
You're good.
Okay. I'm sorry I didn't ask. Are you okay as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Shut up.
I'm sure this is
Dude, he's so
something that's-
unstable.
It's
He's so unstable. I just wanted to share that with you with the bleeping. Thank you, Nick, for bleeping that video for me. Man, I'm so remiss. So I just wanted to share that with you. The Black Republican was in the right. He acted pretty much perfectly. And I guess the white dude who was friends with the black dude said something about leave my friends alone or don't talk about my friends or something. Yeah, I don't know which is worse, the fight or the commentary. You okay? You take a deep breath. It's okay. He's trying to calm down the black guy who's just calm. Speaking of black Republicans, let me get to Joe out of Phoenix, Arizona. Joe, how are you?
Doing well, James. How are you?
Doing fine. I'm still laughing about that stupid video.
Your last caller, I mean, I don't agree with the reparations either. I mean, one, there's no living slaves, and two, you can never identify who exactly is black and what is a fair number. So it's just a big waste of time to even have that conversation.
Yeah, that's true.
But in terms of giving up the country, black people have fought, bled, and died in every war this country has ever had. I'm not being limited to one area because of my skin color, period.
That's fair. That's a good point. Yeah. Have you heard of Ta-Nehisi Coates, that liberal writer who's son of a Black Panther? He's propped up by The Atlantic and stuff like that.
I've heard of him, yeah.
So earlier in my years, when I was a producer for the Jesse Lee Peterson show, he came out with this long, stupid article. I call it stupid. I didn't read it. But this long article, I call it stupid, though, still, that was titled The Case for Reparations. And it talked about slavery, Jim Crow, redlining, and all of that stuff. And his contention is it's been more than just slavery that has caused this so-called need for reparations. Have you heard of that? Do you have anything to say about that?
I've heard of it. I just don't agree with it because, again, you can never identify exactly who is black, who gets it, and what's the amount. It's just a big waste of time and energy to even entertain reparations. Right?
Yeah, that is true. I mean, it is so silly, and it's just plain ridiculous. There have been black slave owners, there have been white slaves, or indentured servants, I guess, or Irish if you count them as white, right? And so I don't know.
No, why wouldn't Irish be white?
Back in the day, they weren't accepted in the American regular society because of them being Catholic, and maybe they were a little more uncouth at that time, maybe even to this day. So they were.
You are something else now. You really earned that nickname of Baby Hitler.
It's all fun. It's all fun. But I mean,
it's interesting that if you look at the history, who is white, who is not white, has changed multiple times over the years.
Yep. Yeah, it's silly. I mean, the only thing that I give credit to for those older folks who, prior generations, that they were not, let's call it tolerant of these newcomers or outsiders, is if you look at the voting patterns of the white Anglo-Saxon Protestants, and I guess some Catholics, they're the ones who are consistently voting Republican, meaning for what's right? And sometimes the Republicans are rhinos, they're evil, they're scammers. Mm-hmm. But the more of the Catholics are liberals, more of the, other newcomers are liberals. And then, the Irish, the Jewish, the white, light-skinned Jewish, or whatever you want to call them, the Italians, they all have that identity with their ethnicity or whatever you want to call it, their whatever it is, and that culture, and then they have been sucked into that victim mindset, and nowadays you're seeing the regular whites, getting sucked into that victim mentality partly because of the attack on them, and partly because of the failure of their parents, the weakness of their parents. Because when you don't have your real identity with your loving your parents, you think that you're going to love your extended family, your race, or something like that. And it's so ridiculous. Reminds me of
They're bad, yeah.
It reminds me of the black radicals that, like Tupac, like he hated his dad. Well, he didn't even know his dad, right? But he's like, the coward wasn't there. So he like identified with his mother and his blackness, and the West Side.
Nobody should care what Tupac had to say about anything. The guy had a thug life tattooed on his chest.
That's a fair point.
He's no role model. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah, people think that he was a prophet or a philosopher, and I think he expressed what he thought well, and I respect that. But besides that, he was kind of lost.
He's a culture vulture, pushing thug life, and it's just stupid.
Yeah. Good point, man. Yeah, I'm not for reparations, and I'm not for the blacks starting their own country in our country. Or them being relegated.
I'm not going to call that callers a racist, but you're stupid.
But he wouldn't force you to go there. He would just say the people that want to.
That's still a stupid idea.
Yeah, actually, he said that he would incentivize you guys going over there. But anyways, man, it's not going to happen, hopefully.
No, I mean, they already tried that in Oregon with white people, basically.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the history of Oregon, they pretty much said we don't want anybody but white people coming to Oregon.
Wow. And now they're like one of the most liberal states in the country, especially around Portland and the cities.
Sure. I mean, it's amazing how many homeless are there in Portland when the weather is so bad.
Yeah, that's true. It's kind of like New York. Yeah. I appreciate it, Joe. Thank you, man.
All right, have a good day. Bye.
All right, you too. So let me get to Ryan out of Concord, California. How do you pronounce it, Ryan? Concord.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. What's up?
Hey, real quickly, yesterday, sorry for hanging up so quickly, but...
Oh, no problem.
You called me a beta male. I ain't no beta.
No, I was calling myself that for letting you hang up before I hung up.
Oh, okay. Well, real quickly, so I actually went to Sac State University, and I graduated this year in May.
Wow.
And I know that, and I know that kid who's on the video, the Black Republican.
Okay.
I was good friends with him, and I was part of the Turning Point USA chapter on Sac State. And I remember one day we had this, like, anti-immigration booth that we held, and these one kids came up, and they started haggling us. And I knew that it was going to be a problem sooner than later because Sac State didn't have a Turning Point USA chapter.
Okay.
And so when we started doing booths and stuff like that, we would hold up signs that say, we're for legal immigration, not undocumented, whatever. And we got harassed so much. But this is the first, like, physical attack that I saw on campus. But it sucks because I just left, and now it looks like all the fun is happening on campus.
Yeah, that's funny. You still in touch with that guy at all? Floyd Johnson
II?
Actually,
they had what's Rubin, the Rubin Report?
Yeah, Dave Rubin.
That guy's name?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was just recently at Sac State on November 12th, and I went to that event and I saw him there.
Did they riot against him too?
I'm pretty sure they did. I got there late, so I don't know if there was anyone there early, but yeah, I saw Ruben there, and then I know those people on the Turning Point USA chapter. They're actually really nice people. They're legit.
Right on.
And I'm glad they got that on camera too.
Yeah, me too. That was that was interesting. It's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just wanted to call and say that. That's all.
Appreciate that, Ryan. Thank you for the tip.
For sure, James. Have a good day.
All right, you as well. Take care.
All right, bye.
Kira out of Florida. Am I pronouncing your first name right?
It's Kira.
Kira. Okay.
Yeah. Hey, it's also on the chat on Two Colored Eyes.
Two Color Eyes? Okay.
Yeah.
I think I've seen you before.
The other day on the countdown.
Nice.
Yeah. I wanted to call and say I was sorry to hear about your grandma.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you.
I lost mine last year, and it's hard. So I wanted to say I was sorry, and I'm praying for you and your family.
Thank you very much. I'll pass that along to them
were you
too.
Close to her?
We always lived very close. It's interesting. My parents grew up in like the Arcadia, California area, and they both went to the high school that I went to, Arroyo High School in El Monte. And so they stayed like in the air. They all stayed in the area. They didn't go off and move to another state like Jesse recommends. But my dad's siblings, they all moved up north or out east or somewhere. But my dad stayed around and helped take care of both my grandpa and my grandma. But he wouldn't, and then he would, just, I don't know. He just stuck around. So we saw them. I saw my grandmother every year, every few months, even in adulthood. So it was,
nice.
Yeah. I think the last time I saw her, though, might have been last Christmas. I definitely remember visiting her at the home where they were staying, the old folks' home, or whatever you want to call it. But maybe I saw her more recently than that. But, yeah.
No. Well, I'm sure you have tons of memories with her, and those are always, special.
Yeah. Thank you, Kira.
Okay, well, you're welcome. I'll let you go.
All right.
Take care.
You too.
All right, bye, Hake.
Bye. So, Trump is being called anti-Semitic by liberals, right? For calling out liberal Jews for not loving Israel enough. And or being lacking in knowledge. So I reported on this in Hake News today, Hour 3, where President Trump spoke to, what was it? In Hollywood, Florida, after addressing a Republican dinner in nearby Aventura. Great band. No, I'm kidding. The president introduced Jared Kushner, his son-in-law, who has played a leading role in helping the administration craft its Middle East peace plan. And so he was speaking to the Israeli-American Council Summit. So he's like expressing his love for the Jews and for Israel. And what does he get called? Anti-Semitic. Because he is, what are you guys doing? I think Nick is giving me titles to Aventura songs or something like that. It's a band, right? And I have the guy's high-pitched, whiny voice in my head. I like his songs though. Anyways, Aventura is a band, but it's also apparently a city in Florida. So he's like, if Jared Kushner can't achieve peace in the Middle East, quote, it can't be done. Which, I mean, it might not be able to be done, right? Like, most people probably think that it cannot be done. Peace between Israel and Palestine and all that stuff. So the White House said that its peace plan has been complete and promised to release it after the Israeli elections in September. But the elections back in September, I think September, it's been delayed, right? Because the elections haven't resulted in anything. Because Israel has to come up with a coalition government on one side or the other, and that Benjamin Netanyahu, who's been the prime minister, he's being indicted for so-called corruption and bribery and stuff like that and fraud, and who knows what the truth is with that situation. He calls it a witch hunt, and he has some supporters, but he's not as popular anymore. He's been in there for forever, like the longest serving prime minister in there. I guess they've only been around 70 some years. But it's been delayed. It's been under wraps. Israel appears headed for its third round of elections this year. But the plan is probably going to be panned, maybe, by Palestinian officials who object to the pro-Israel leanings of the Trump administration. Duh! And yet the stupid liberals are reacting when Trump said, to some laughter and applause at this meeting, we have to get the people of our country, of this country, to love Israel more. I have to tell you that. We have to do it. We have to get them to love Israel more because you have Jewish people that are great people. They don't love Israel enough. So this guy, Aaron Kayak, former head of National Jewish Democratic Council, liberal, said the remarks were anti-Semitic. Trump's insistence on using anti-Semitic tropes when addressing Jewish audiences is dangerous and should concern every member of the Jewish community, even Jewish Republicans. This overreaction feeds the suspicion and annoyance by people towards Jews, this type of nonsense that this guy is spouting, not anything Trump said. Trump has been accused of trafficking in anti-Semitic stereotypes before, including in August, when he said American Jews who vote for Democrats show either a total lack of knowledge or great disloyalty. Because they support Democrats who are not good for anybody, to be honest. They're not good for anybody. Yeah, they give power to each other and free stuff, but they're not good. They're not for what's right. A number of Jewish groups noted that the accusations of disloyalty have long been made against Jews. Maybe because it's true. Like, it reminds me of the blacks who support Democrats. They hate black people. So, same thing with Jews who support Democrats. Kushner is in charge of wall construction. Jared Kushner. He's Jewish. He's Trump's son-in-law. He married Ivanka, turned her Jewish from Christian. Backwards, right? But he's in charge of the wall construction, of peace in the Middle East. And so those two things, all right. Although I'm not sure. He has experience in construction. I guess that's why he's in charge of the wall construction. Let's hope that Stephen Miller, another Jewish guy, but he's tough on immigration, is watching to make sure that the wall goes up properly. But anyways, this Kushner guy, he's kind of liberal is my problem with him. He was behind that First Step Act. But he's with Trump, so I like him. But the First Step Act was horrible. It's let criminals out of prison. And reportedly, according to Fox News, and one guy who's called in my show multiple times, it has resulted in at least one murder since a criminal was freed. So, that's that First Step Act. He's part of this criminal justice reform, which is a liberal buzzword for letting criminals out of jail and then maybe even letting them vote again, which is dumb. By the way, yesterday on my show, I said that they shouldn't violate the Second Amendment rights of the felons if they get freed from prison. Jesse Lee Peterson does not agree with me. He was calling me beta for being for Second Amendment rights. I don't know if anybody actually is fighting for that for them. I think they just violate the law anyways. They're felons, right? And they're getting let out of prison early anyways. But let me explain one other quick thing about this. Trump was also called sympathetic to Nazis. He was called racist for telling the truth that blacks are living in hell, and what the hell do they have to lose, he said. What do they have to lose? Vote for me? They'd have nothing to lose because they're voting for Democrats and getting nothing except for free stuff and a diminished sense of character. Trump was called sympathetic to Nazis by telling the truth that there was violence and good people on many sides in Charlottesville, which is a fact. So he's always being attacked for telling the truth. By the way, you know those African migrants who've been coming in by the thousands, according to Fox News, annually now? By the thousands annually, right? This was 460 in 2007, 2,700 in 2018 or something like that. 5,600 or more than 5,000, approaching 6,000, I think. I think it was 5,800. In 2019, at least so far, roughly. Supposedly, this is as Europe is closing its borders, huh? But I didn't tell you that the Congressional Black Caucus, speaking of disloyal blacks, huh? The Children of the Lie, Congressional Black Caucus members visited these African illegals who were held at the border. And so that's another dumb thing. African migrants coming through Mexico to America, just exploiting the porous border. And our lenient immigration, whatever you want to call it, policies. And these people are letting them in, and then they're entrenched. And then you're like, oh, what are you going to do? Send them back? They're entrenched here. Yes, send them back. All right, guys. I will see you guys later. And make sure you support Bond. Go to rebuildingtheman.com. Get on the, subscribe to the mailing list, too, the physical mailing list. We have a newsletter that goes out a few times a year. So if you're not subscribed, and it's a physical mailing list, it's cool. We don't junk mail people, and we don't waste a lot of money, just a few times a year. And there's a nice end of year one that's going out. All right, guys, take care.